Hello, this is Blue Star, Defender of Equestria, and this is my next character analysis video. This time we will be covering Discord, Spirit of Chaos, and a childish jerk. Yeah, I think unfortunately, that's sort of what describes Discord. He's definitely an evil character. And the reason he's evil is not because he's the spirit of discord and disharmony and basically the opposite of everything that My Little Pony stands for. He's evil because he basically doesn't care who he hurts. He's like a child. It's like, I'm gonna do what I want, and if anyone gets hurt in the process, well, that's just too bad. But the good news, at least in the My Little Pony universe, unlike a previous character who was portrayed also by John de Lance, if I got his name right, who played the character Q in Star Trek Next Generation, and not to mention other Star Trek series. Q was basically the same thing as Discord, except he wasn't really about disharmony, but he was just a super massively powerful guy that there was simply no way to bring him down. He was like God. I mean, he wasn't God, but he practically had God powers. So yeah, but that's the one edge of that My Little Pony has, is that Discord is not invincible. That he actually isn't defeatable by the elements of harmony. But of course, in My Little Pony way, he was not killed. He was turned to stone and thrown in jail because, he can't exactly kill people often in My Little Pony, because that's just not the My Little Pony way. But again, Discord is an interesting character. He certainly has a difficult problem in that he goes against Equestria, but at the same time, putting him in jail goes against the fourth value of Equestria, which is to let people be who and what they are. I mean, in theory, they should let Discord be who he is, but the problem is that he's going around and hurting all the ponies and making their lives miserable by basically doing all these terrible things to them. So they had to intervene. They had to lock him in jail and put him away. Yeah, but other than this, that's why I look at him as being childish. It's like, I'm gonna do what I want and let the rest of the galaxy burn. I have to admit, to borrow a line from Babylon 5. Other than that, he's certainly interesting, because not only does he have all these powers, but he's very manipulative and sneaky. But I must admit, he tries to, after successfully manipulating the first of the main six, it's like when he gets to Flutter's Eye, he's just like, oh, I can't do this. I can't be bothered anymore to do this. I'm just gonna hypnotize you. Still, but yeah, I mean, I must admit, Discord's interesting, but I must admit, I don't really like him too much, because yeah, he's a jerk, because when it comes to he's a jerk. This is why they had to attempt to reform him in, quote-unquote, reform him in, and Keep Calm and Flutter On, because, again, in a My Little Pony way, they can't imprison someone forever and ever and ever. I mean, Discord, what he stands for isn't necessarily evil. I mean, again, it goes against Equestria and, well, most civilized cultures. Disharmony, chaos, usually result in, well, things falling apart. But this is simply who and what he is. So they had to basically teach him, well, friendship is actually worth having, and, maybe you could use your powers for good instead of evil, which I must admit is how I view hackers sometimes. Like, well, if you're so formidable, Mr. Hacker, why don't you use your powers for good instead of evil? Why don't you do something constructive instead of ruining people's lives and stuff like that? I hate hackers. Same reason I hate Discord. They just want to, sometimes they're just bullies. They just want to hurt people for the sake of hurting people. So yeah, I must admit, we don't really know a lot about Discord, like where he comes from, why is he so ridiculously powerful, why the only things that can defeat him are the elements of harmony. But this is, I must admit, a common thing throughout My Little Pony, that we're introduced to this big, super powerful character. We know nothing about them, but we know we have to bring them down. But Discord gets to interact in a much more personal level this time. It actually is pretty creepy what he does to each of the main six. I mean, when he's like, I was gonna say seducing them, but no, he's tricking them. He's playing with their minds and their feelings, and it's pretty creepy stuff, especially for a show that was really meant for little kids. But still, Yeah, I mean, but the good news is that Twilight is able to, even though she gets pulled to the dark side, quite literally in this case, that she manages to remember how important her friendship with all her friends are, and is able to basically bring her color back and turn back to the light side, and is able to reunite her friends and against discord, and proving that chaos may win temporarily, but order, love, community, friendship will prevail in the end. Yay! But yeah, I feel kind of bad for Discord because yeah, I mean, being locked away in a statue for all that time would suck. That would be terrible. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think an alternate way that they could have quote unquote reformed Discord. I don't think Discord needed to be reformed, quote unquote. You know, he just needed to be taught. And in the show, it's like, well, he needs to be taught that friendship is actually something worth having, that being a loner is not all it's cut out to be, you know, and having friends is cool too. I think the alternate way to reform Discord would have been to shown him just how much he was hurting everybody. Because just like a child sometimes doesn't understand that when they do something, they're hurting that person severely in some cases. You know, a child might say something mean to another child and not understand that those words hurt. And I think that's Discord's problem. Or he flat out just doesn't care. Either way, if somehow they could have taught him or shown him how much all this chaos and stuff was hurting people, and maybe then shown him that you know, maybe there's another way that you could be who you are that doesn't involve hurting people. He's definitely one of the more interesting characters, but I must admit I don't like him because he's so ridiculously powerful, and I mean, the good news is he's not as bad as Q. Like, I didn't like Q because, again, it's hard having a character that you can literally do nothing against. In Star Trek, they could have turned every milliwatt of power into like a phaser bank on the Enterprise, and it wouldn't have even tickled Q. You know, he's so ridiculously powerful. But the good news is, again, in My Little Pony, that's not the case. That they actually do have a way to defeat him. But it'd be nice to know, where did he come from? What is it? There's some interesting theories that he's actually Star-Swilled the Bearded, which I kind of like, but be actually kind of depressing. That, oh dear, that Star-Swilled the Bearded was, he was trying to fix the spell at the end of Magical Mystery Cure, and instead of transporting him to the Twilight Zone and evolving him to an Alicorn, instead turned him into Discord. Because because supposedly Star-Swilled the Bearded basically was he was basically what the path that Twilight was going down until the events of Friendship is Magic happened. If Friendship is Magic had not happened, Twilight would have stayed in the Canterlot Library and just kept reading books and studying magic, and would not have had any friends and everything. And so when he tried to do this spell, which we can assume that basically the key is friendship, for basically someone who's a complete loner to try to do a spell like that, well, backfired massively, and he got turned into Discord. Again, this is a headcanon, it's not canon or anything like that, but I must admit, I actually kind of like that theory, and if that's true, that's really quite sad. I mean, aw, poor guy. I mean, you could argue he's being very selfish, that he's doing this not for friendship or anything like that, he's doing this to increase his own power, so it ends up backfiring on him. So yeah, that either way, it's still a sad thing. You know, he's the spirit of chaos and discord, and basically now nobody will like him because he's basically the opposite of everything that Equestria and the princesses and everybody stand for. So he's basically now the enemy of Equestria. But fortunately, in Keep Calm and Flutter On, they managed to reform him, quote unquote, reform him. So now he is hopefully no longer evil. But as we can clearly see by the end, is that don't worry, kiddies. I think there's still going to be some fun things for Discord to do. He's not totally reformed. The dark side hasn't been driven out of him completely. But still, I'm glad that they did reform him, because yeah, that would, I don't think he's a bad guy. He just needed to learn that, that what he was doing was simply hurting everybody so much. But then again, maybe he is a bad guy and he just doesn't care. So it'll be interesting to see which of those is true. Is he really a bad guy? Or did he just finally learn that, friendship is, something I might actually want? That, having friends is, cooler than being a loner forever. So, that is the end of my analysis of Discord. This is Blue Star. Stay strong and pony on. Blue Star out.